Hey, let's talk about video games. So, in the past, I've seen many games try to tackle the concepts of morality and self-improvement, and one common thread is the frequent agreement that thing that's good for you must feel good, and the thing that's bad for you must feel bad, which should be a given, right? Good deeds are rewarded, bad deeds punished, yada yada, and so forth. And to a degree, this can make sense to convey a simple theme to, and don't hate me for this one, a simple audience. It's the kind of moral dichotomy that works to teach little kids not to hit their friends and such. But I find it to be, well, a little flat. It adds nothing to the topic and portrays it all from an external cosmic perspective when, if there was a cosmic narrative in the universe punishing misdeeds, we wouldn't have serial killers, and if there were blatant thousands of negatives to self-destructive habits, we wouldn't have addicts. In this video, I'm going to do my damnedest to convince you that nuance is awesome, and here's why you should do the exact opposite of all that in a story by using two very specific examples. Let's start with a more commonly known example. In Disco Elysium, you play as an amnesiac freak, we can just say Harry, and a large theme in it is his various severe addictions to mind-altering inhibitors, as well as his self-destructive tendencies that wind up making themselves known throughout the narrative as you learn of the things he did before he got into your hands as the player. From there, it's your choice on whether he sets on a path of self-improvement or falls back on the same old habits. Through this, we find one mechanic in particular. In the game, you're able to use various substances to increase your stats, therefore giving you a higher chance to succeed on the dice rolls that dictate most of your failures and successes. It's like a tabletop RPG of some sort. Alas, the only dragons you're chasing in this game are metaphorical, as the drugging yourself for benefits creates a fascinating addiction mechanic that you don't notice until you're chugging everything you can find for those sweet stat boosts and maximum odds, and suddenly the reality dawns on you that it would be much harder to stop than to keep going. After all, why would you stop if it's giving you the advantage, if those better chances at success give you joy? Ultimately, in Disco Elysium, the moral of this mechanic is that quitting is hard and addiction is morally neutral. That, like most situations people find themselves trapped in, it's situational, and doing what's best for you often feels much worse than to continue the cycle. It puts you in the character's head in a way that punishing the drug abuse wouldn't do nearly as effectively, and I think that kind of sympathy, awareness of the story you're making, as well as the creativity on its own, is all pretty neat. Moving on to our next example, in incredibly niche video game Bird, which evidence indicates only I, my demons, and the one walkthrough writer on Newgrounds, or perhaps a singular man on YouTube have all played, you play as a little birdman after the great fall of your society, having to choose between appeasing a god trapped beneath a mountain or aiding in the growth of the next generation, which is all, of course, in your own hands. The game has a bad, neutral, and good ending, and I will not be going into detail about any of them because that's not what this is about. Go play it yourself, doingus. This, in fact, is about the game's difficulty, which actually increases when you choose to aid your fellow birds. The idea is that the god under the mountain demands food and blood sacrifices, but the food are worms that you can also feed to the stray children, and the blood sacrifices are little eggs that you can shatter to unlock fast travel between areas. If you displease God, it also sends a great storm your way, and you will occasionally be struck dead by lightning. As a retro-looking platformer, you're expected to do a decent amount of dying, but with your ability to fast travel blocked off and the occasional death by pain lightning, you quickly realize that putting more good into the world and helping those weaker than you is an absolutely Herculean task that requires great personal sacrifice, which is the entire point of the thing. In Bird, the portrayal of good deeds as personally detrimental showcases the fact that, honestly, being kind to others can actually come at great personal cost, and it can be much easier to focus entirely on your own benefit at the cost of others instead. It punishes you for good deeds to highlight their importance, not to diminish them, but it's a complicated moral to achieve that most people won't want to bother with due to how much more difficult it is. Surprisingly, much like real life, solidarity and awareness. You avoid what you don't care about or understand because it brings you no benefit to understand them and is in fact much easier to just move on with your life. So, conclusion of the video? I don't know, just maybe take a crack at portraying more complicated morality because it is actually more sympathetic to the people suffering from what the fuck ever tendencies and doesn't instead cater to all the people who could just tell them to get over it. Like, media literacy, guys. Complicated works of art? No, wait, come back.